Folks, welcome to a very special edition of the Roundup. We are kicking off our second season in the home of Pete and Lynne Simpson here in Cody, Wyoming. What a gift and treasure these two are and have been to the state of Wyoming. And so I don't want to take too much time to introduce them because I'm going to let them do the introducing. Pete and Lynne have been absolute rocks when it comes to the theater and the arts and culture of this state and farther beyond as well. But in addition to that, Pete has such a long history, well, Lynne as well, long history here in Cody and have made their mark here. So I want to say hello.
Hello,
Hi, Wendy.
It's nice to see you.
You two dear people have just been part of my heart for so long.
Well, you've been a wonderful part of our lives and our community's life.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I want to just start out by saying both of you grew up here in Cody. In fact, Pete, you grew up in this house.
This house, I shall put this to everybody, is as old as I am. I came here at the age of 6 months.
Oh my gosh.
And have lived in it off and on ever since. So what do I have to say here? I was born in 1930.
Okay.
So as a consequence, I've been around for some time. And this has been a place where I've come back, Lynne and I, because both of us were raised in this town. That's what gave both of us a sense of commonality and a sense of knowing who we both were, because the town was a part of what nurtured us and encouraged us.
That's fantastic.
Really special. Well, I was raised across the street from Pete, but there's a lot of years difference between us. So when I was 7, he was 17, and I didn't know him very well. But we were in the same neighborhood. And it was exactly 65 years ago, this holiday season, that we met.
Wow.
And we courted 13 days and became engaged. And then we're married right away. So everyone in Cody that knew us, because we were the little kids growing up all those years, just thought, well, that won't last. That's 13 days, you know. What do they know? But we knew everything about each other because in a small town, you do carry so many people and experiences that we didn't have to even talk to know that we knew each other. You know, it's saved our marriage many times, hasn't it, Pete?
Yes. Well, Lynne phrased it well one time. We knew 1,000 unspoken things about each other.
It's really a glue that's lovely for us.
Yeah.
And
that's been a joy. We ended up going on a date to the Bronze Boot, the old Bronze Boot, down on the river with the precarious bridge and all of those exciting things. And we never made the dinner. We sort of parked on the rim.
Peter, don't tell everything.
And told
come on, this is a Christmas story. But we did talk. We did a lot of
We talked for 3 hours that
And of
night.
course, I think that's what's great about a good marriage, is if you never run out of things you want to tell each other or new things you want to share and have adventures together. It was just wonderful for us to find each other. I'd come home from New York City, where I was training to be an actor. And Pete was here selling swimming pools.
Of all things.
Oh my goodness, how did I fall for that? Cody, Wyoming.
But
it was a specific kind of swimming pool, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was the Esther Williams variety.
Yes.
I don't think many people may even know who she was, but she was a big star at the time. And she came to Cody and to Billings, and we sold a modest number of those. But it got us together because I was working with her cousin, who was a construction man. Again, small town ties. And
but I rescued him from the swimming pool business.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
And where did you take him away to?
I took him to Laramie to get a degree in history. Because he said, I always wanted to be a teacher and teach history, and not much encouragement because this came from a family of lawyers, and they all wanted him to go into law. Yes. But we followed his dream, and we went to Wyoming. And sure enough, that's what Peter became. PhD in history and taught Western history, and then got to have a career at the University of Wyoming. I think maybe a lot of people might know that.
Yes.
They know him from down there.
Yes.
But it started in a 13-day whirlwind that was exactly 65 years ago. In about a week, we met.
I love that so much.
In Lynne's case, it wasn't a case of rescuing her. It was a case of trying to get her out here. She was in the American Theater Wing in New York, and she had just auditioned for the Perry Como show. People may not know who that is now today either. And she was on her way, and so some have said, well, you took her away from a life when she could be doing theater, and Lynne would respond to this very quickly. In Wyoming, you can do more theater, more time do more shows and plays.
Well, it's a matter of moving from the largest city in the world to a rural context where you have opportunities to do things. I think most of the people who love Wyoming, move to Wyoming, find that they have access to opportunities that they wouldn't have if they lived in an 11 million population town. So even though I was doing well, I was excited. I didn't really love the city. I went there right out of the sagebrush, right out of these prairies here. And so it wasn't a match for me. I was used to people loving me and knowing me, and I the same with them. So it was perfect to be in Wyoming with a happy husband who loves the theater and music and all of the things that we like.
There were people taking care of her in New York because she was living in Helen Hayes's endowed rehearsal club, which was the club George Kaufman wrote about in the movie and play Stage Door. In fact, she took a vacated apartment, recently vacated by Carol Burnett, and so she was in a good place where they took care of young children.
But it was a great decision not to stay with them. It's just I'm a country girl. Yeah. I like the rural life. I like being known and knowing people, and I like the access to making a difference. Yeah. It's wonderful, and I think people move to Wyoming because they feel they can make a difference or have something to offer that's special. So, as a native of Wyoming, it all worked out beautifully for us. We've had a great life in the arts and academics. Just loved it.
I think we were mentioning earlier when I was speaking to you earlier, Wendy, that people come to volunteer for those things. They get excited about them. You have a coterie that just sort of comes out of the woodwork in a small town and knows how to do some theater tech, knows how to help with music, how to be a part of the ensemble in so many ways. And that's been what's fun for us. So you can do a variety of things you never could do in the big city.
That is absolutely correct. I have lived that. I have lived that, and I understand that so much. And my children have lived it, but that's something I have to say. The first opportunity I had to work with the both of you, and I wasn't even really a part of it. My daughter was. You folks, it's a perfect time to talk about this. You did A Christmas Carol.
The Christmas Carol.
Did A Christmas
That was a fabulous production.
It was a fabulous
And I can always brag because in theater, it's never a one-woman or a one-man show. It is the whole team of people. So when you brag about the show, you're bragging about everyone who took part in it. And of course, we had the Scrooge. We did.
The ultimate Scrooge.
We did. It was perfect. It was wonderful.
I didn't know Wendy. I didn't know your daughter was in
it. She was in it. She was one of the children.
Oh, great!
Was
one of the children.
Great.
Yeah. And so,
I do remember.
Yes,
Yeah.
And I just helped out backstage. I did props, and so that's all I did. But that was my first opportunity. And then Lynne, you were my vocal coach and acting coach when we did The Sound of Music.
Well, I did try to help.
You did.
But
You did. It was the most
You
amazing
were wonderful
production.
in that show.
It was
You
the
were-
most amazing production. There was
wonderful.
fairy dust sprinkled on that
Yes,
production
there
of Sound of
was.
Music.
Yes.
And it
There
was a
was.
number of years ago now. But it was such again, I think that's a tribute to the two of you coming back to Cody and saying, I want to work here. I want to
Mhm.
bring theater here. I want to bring these productions here. I want to veer off real quickly. You guys did leave for a while after you left Laramie. You went to Washington State.
Oregon.
Went to Oregon.
Oregon.
Yes.
Close.
Yes.
Close,
Close,
you know,
yeah.
it's that
I know.
northern Pacific
Yeah.
rain.
Yes.
It was all
Rain.
Clouds.
Yes.
Lots of clouds. I
Yes.
stayed in the house one whole year because in Wyoming the sun shines every day.
Yes.
Everybody knows that,
Yes.
right? So I stayed in the house till the sun came out, and it didn't.
Yeah.
So I finally had to figure that out. But we had a wonderful life in Oregon. But we took our first opportunity to come back after Pete got his degree, and I did a lot of theater out there. I had a lot of opportunities there.
Yes.
So I've had a blessed life in
Yeah.
terms of being able to do things that I've always wanted
Be
to do.
creative.
But in
Yeah.
terms of Christmas, I mean, wasn't that fun to do a Christmas carol?
It was an absolute. Was it 2008?
I think
Pretty,
so.
pretty
Yeah.
early on. It was
Yeah.
early on.
Yeah,
in
because when did you guys
My
come back
career.
to Cody?
2000.
2000. Okay.
2000. So very shortly after that.
Yes.
we-
But the two of you have done productions together. You two did Love Letters.
Well, we've done Love Letters.
We
We've
did
done
that.
the Gin Game. We've done On Golden Pond.
We did the last act of Can't Hear You When the Water's Running, which is I'm a Herbert, which is a wonderful confusion of memories for these two old couples, and it has built-in laughs in it. So we've done little things and big things, and being together is great because I feel safe, and you have to feel safe on stage.
Well, it's like a couple who loves hunting together,
Mm.
or hiking, or anything that people enjoy together.
Yep.
is very nice for the marriage, I think.
Yes.
And we've just had that blessing on top of it. The first Christmas we had in Cody, we dressed up in Victorian costumes, a la Christmas Carol. Of course, the hat and my bonnets.
Yes.
And we did caroling, the two of us, with lanterns, and with the wassailing. We went wassailing. We have a picture from the Cody Enterprise that was the whole cover of the two of us when I was 21 and Pete was 31.
29.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So we'll have to get that out.
Word.
This
Yeah.
isn't the right place. But my point is, we started our performing right away at Christmas time.
At 21 and
Yeah,
31
yeah, that's right.
downtown Cody. That's phenomenal. I love that so much. I love the togetherness.
Yeah.
I love the fact that the two of you have formed a true partnership
Mm-hmm.
over all of these years.
Very much so.
65 years. 65 years together. That includes going through the ups and downs of politics, because
Yes,
I
it does.
remember, Pete, when you ran for governor.
Yes, that's right.
And that was, I don't know why I remember it. I know that I was, what year was it? Because was I in high school?
1986.
Yes.
85.
Yes, I was in high school over in Buffalo. So I remember
Were
that.
you?
Yes.
You were in
And
Buffalo.
I knew your name before I knew Al's name.
Perfect.
Because you were here. You were in the state.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Al was off in Washington.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so,
he was one of your representatives. No,
Yeah.
he was a state representative from Sheridan.
Yes.
Sheridan.
So we had
Yeah.
a lot of theater life over there
Yes. Yes.
in Sheridan and Buffalo. We starred some people from Buffalo in the Sheridan productions.
Isn't that great? But yes.
Anyway,
So I remember when you ran for governor.
Yep.
And that was, you only did it once, right?
That's right.
And that was enough.
That was enough.
Tell us
It's
about your
expensive.
decision. Why did you decide that that was something you wanted to do?
Well, because I've lived in a political family for all my life. It was on the breakfast table menu. It was Dad had run and lost once and won twice. And so we'd gone through it as a family matter here right in this house. And so it was natural to think about those things. That's really why I ran for the legislature first in Sheridan. And that experience was wonderful. I enjoyed it. It was a time, I should say this politically, when you could talk across the aisle and when you could agree and when you could compromise. And so I enjoyed it very much.
We
So-
were idiots. We fell for flattery. I mean, come on, people in your audience know that if you get flattered, you're likely to say yes, right?
Yeah.
We need you. You're the only one that can do this. Oh, please come. Well, you know, we rose to the occasion and thought that fell for the idea that the Wyoming would support two Simpsons.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But that was a mistake. And we did the polling.
Yes.
The polling. We asked everyone, would it bother you at all if there were two Simpsons in politics in Wyoming? Well, when we lost the election, at the exit polling, they all said we didn't want two Simpsons.
Even though, I guess it comes down to, people ask you ask them to your face, oh yeah, sure.
Oh, sure.
And I paid those pollsters. I could write
Oh,
a
my
book about
goodness.
Well,
But we met a lot of people,
Yes.
and we had a lot of support, and it's just that it cost us everything. So then our lives had to change drastically after the election.
Yeah.
So what did you do after the election?
Well, in a way, it worked out very well. It dovetailed with what I did next, which was to be in charge of fundraising at the University of Wyoming. So I knew people all over the state. I traveled all over the state with this campaign. So as a consequence, the connections were very helpful and probably led to the fact that they would hire me down there. So I had a wonderful life. We did.
The next career.
The next career, which was a pretty long career from 86 to 97.
Wow.
And I immediately went back to school to get some degrees so that I could have a career.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a career in aging, gerontology, and I hated it. I thought, oh no, I don't want to work with old people. What are the old people will just drive me crazy. But I had a job running the senior services for Albany County after our election. And I spent 12 of the happiest years of my life. And now that we are the old people, all of my training and experience have become a big part of my happiness as we are enjoying our old age. I learned so much from so many great people, and I learned so much about the psychology of aging and the social cultural approaches to aging. That's really been great for us. So even though it seemed like lemon juice, it wasn't. It was just wonderful experience for me to end up having a career that I would never have dreamed of. So that's the message, Wendy. You never know.
Oh.
Never give up hope when things look the worst, because you don't know what blessings are ahead for you.
It's kind of an old pioneer sort of trope as well, because reinvention was how the frontier was built. And you came as a hunter. You learned how to grow things. You owned a grocery store. You might even become the undertaker. Who knows? But the point is, we needed a job, and she got one.
So I want to take just a couple of minutes and let you brag on your children, because you have raised the next generation of Simpsons who are out there making their names in the world, whether it's music with Maggie, whether it's theater with Pete Jr., whether it's
the humanities.
But Millward has been
Great
on the
leader.
state stage,
Yeah.
and Millward Simpson, the next Millward Simpson, named after your father, is out there, and he's been doing amazing things as well. So tell me just a little bit about your children and what they have done.
Well, let me start with this. I've always been proud to be known as Millward's son. I am now extremely proud to be known as Millward's father.
There you go.
Identity crisis.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
That's what you get for naming for the generational naming. But yes, Millward did amazing things. He's your oldest.
Yes.
And
I think the secret of our children and their success in the arts and humanities is that we played in our family. We, in other words, things like poetry and history and literature and music and dance, all of that was a part of our daily lives. And so we were thrown together as a fivesome over our lives because we moved a lot. You know, when you move, it takes a while to get, so that we were a solid little family with the idea that we played together. Mm-hmm. Now, some people would say you should have raised children who knew how to balance a checking account and maybe get straight A's and things. But we were doing rock concerts and we would do adaptions of little books. We did the Little Prince. Millward started the Little Prince. We just did all kinds of things that were fun. We just played all the time. And we are now just weeping over the fact that in our school system, play is beginning challenged. Yes. We're finding that the arts are being reduced, or if not eliminated, which is your playtime. Your art classes, your music classes, your dance classes, your history classes, etc. So I think that our children are successful and are talented, but they had a chance to do it in the family all through school. And I think many other families that have artistic children would say the same.
Yes.
That as long, the whole family was involved in some way. People in sports have that.
They do.
If their dad's in sports, So we had a culture, we had a family culture of mostly just playing, inventing, imagining, doing crazy things, adventures. And so I think that's what makes a person successful.
It's the creative part.
Don't you think? It's the creative part.
Yeah.
And I think they had good voices.
Yes.
And they had natural interests in politics and history, etc. For Millward. Millward does have great leadership skills, and we're proud that he's had opportunities.
Yes.
In
Wyoming.
Yes.
To exercise that. And my youngest son did become an actor, although in our family life, he was the most quiet, withdrawn person in the family. And he said, "Well, Mom, I was just waiting to come out of the dark." He said, I just like coming out and surprising everyone with the things I could do.
Because he's been in the Blue Man Group.
Yes.
He was integral in the Blue Man Group.
He was the original Blue Man.
Yes. Which is phenomenal. And now he's doing an off-Broadway show that Pete, you were telling me about before when I just walked in here today.
He is what they term an Obie Award winner, which is the equivalent of the Tony for off-Broadway and creative work. So he, for 20 years of excellent performance and work, he won that award. So he's well sought for, and he always has a gig, but he says you still have to live like a shark in New York City.
That's a gig, in show business, it's a gig. Still has a gig life, although he has been teaching now at some universities that are very, very good for him. And he said, "Mom, I'm lucky. I have all of this fame and fortune, but I have a family." Mm-hmm. Oftentimes in the arts, the family life gets set aside, and he has a family, and they're playing and doing crazy things. So
that's
so
wonderful.
that was a surprise to us. He took off in ways that we never, and he got a start at the University of Wyoming, which is that's a star in our lives. Is the opportunities that wonderful university gives all kinds of people.
Yes.
We really do have some amazing institutions, and one of the things I love is that there's beginning to be more and more collaboration between the Buffalo Bill Center, which is a remarkable institution, the University of Wyoming, the new Heart Mountain Reinterpretation Center, and the symphony in our backyard, which Fred Child, the announcer for Performance Today on NPR, calls the best summer festival orchestra in the world.
I'll fill in and say that's in Jackson.
That's in
the
Jackson.
Grand Teton Symphony.
Yes.
That's been a big part of our lives. But anyway, so they're homegrown. They're rural kids that had opportunities. Yes. And Maggie Maggie was a great performer. She's a great writer and a great musician and vocalist. And but when she married, she moved to Texas.
Oh, okay.
Where she raised a son. So she's now returning, and we hope that she'll be performing again soon. She is really a fabulous performer and poet. And so they got smashed, didn't they? Well, they got a whole bunch of good stuff along the arts.
Exactly.
Line.
But you cultivated that as parents and as people because of the creative people that you were. We're short on time here because we have been. I hate to wrap this up because I love you both so much and I love visiting with you. But what I want to ask both of you is, when you look back at your lives, is there a period of time that was the brightest, that shined the brightest for you individually as people? Was there what period of time in your life, Pete, did you feel made your heart leap the most? And when you recall that, you look back and say, that was the time.
It was in this town. It was in an auto supply shop run by old Dave Spink. I met this girl. Literally. That's Ben.
That was the moment?
Oh, you bet.
Isn't that nice to say?
I'm actually going to sit here and cry. That's fantastic.
That's what did it.
I think it's right now.
Yeah, well,
and I think that for everyone in the audience, look at the present. Be in that full present to the today, and then it will be the highlight of your life. If you live that way, then you have highlights all along. So I think being old together is lucky. Doesn't happen for everyone, and that we paid attention to being in love and having fun, that our old age together is just the same. We're having fun and we love each other, and we look forward to more art, and we love following our children, of course, in their lives. So today, this is the best, being with Wendy Corr.
You have absolutely made my day. Absolutely made my day. And I want to take these lessons, and I'm so glad we're able to share these lessons, that now is the time. And we are in a beautiful place, and we are in the blessed place that is Wyoming.
That's right. I agree with that.
And what a gift it is that we all have had. So thank you both. Thank you for the gift that you've brought us and the blessings that you've brought us over the years and the decades, and the gift of your wisdom and your humor and the gift of your talent, both of you, and just being around.
Thank you, Wendy.
Well, you've been a pleasure, Wendy, and we've enjoyed having you here, and we've enjoyed watching you perform for years. It's wonderful, wonderful.
The opportunities that are given to us in small town Wyoming.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we take those and we just say yes.
That's
we
right.
Say yes to these opportunities. And so, folks, this is our holiday wish for all of you, is to take today and be grateful. And as the very first episode for season 2 of Cowboy State Daily's The Roundup, we say welcome, and join us next week. We'll have more amazing people to highlight, because Wyoming is a state filled with amazing people. So join us next week. Thanks for tuning in today. Have a wonderful week.